A great Monday morning. It is a beautiful morning in the city of Brownsville, Texas. Sort of. A little bit on the late side today, but because an, another one of my tires got kind of screwed up. I, I I I don't know what to do anymore. It seems, but I'm going to blame it on Brownsville streets because sure isn't my driving that's getting all this messed up. They found a nail and some metal object inside the tire, and you know, I can understand one tire, getting messed up, which happened 2 weeks ago or a week ago, last week. But now another tire. So it's just a lot of crap that we find on the streets, and I, I, I'm going to guess that part of it has to do with all this damn construction that's going on everywhere. And I've shared this before, and I'm glad that the streets are getting fixed up. It's just it seems that it just doesn't make sense. The street down International still doesn't make sense to me. How they've got it all screwed up, and that's one of the streets where we have these 18 wheelers coming down. Just doesn't make sense. And again, a very very poor planning. I wish instead of focusing on destroying our streets, they would find avenues where to redirect the traffic that's coming in, so as we don't have to deal with the pileups that happen in front of a street that has a gateway to several of our schools, elementary, junior high, and high schools. It just doesn't make much sense. A lot of poor planning. And I don't know. So I had another flat this morning. So I had to go up and air the tire a little bit so it wouldn't be, I wouldn't be running it so flat. Then did my Walmart walk, came to went to Discount Tires, and let me tell you, I'm in love with Discount Tires. Great job, great customer service, great individuals out there. They called me, said, "Hey, you got a nail and some metal object in there. We'll try to fix it, but if not, you're going to have to replace the damn tire." And it's one of these new tires, so it's like super expensive. Uh, Tesla wanted to change my tire for $500 for one tire. And I'm going like, well, what the hell is that tire made out of? Platinum, gold, or silver, or even bronze? $500 for a damn tire. I said, I'm used to paying 500 some dollars for all four tires, not for one tire. So again, I appreciate the patience, y'all's patience, and letting us come on at 9:30 instead of 9 o'clock. But today we have Philip Sotelo, RGV Rail System from the old RGV Rail System.
Interest Group.
Interest what?
It's the RGV Rail System Interest Group. It's a Facebook group that
Oh,
me and another gentleman started.
oh, what is the RGV Rail System? That one.
Well, there has been a growing interest in getting a rail system, a commuter rail system here in the valley for a while now. And I think it's time that it was taken seriously because it's needed. Um, I did some research, and since 1990, the population combined between Cameron and Hidalgo counties has increased almost 700,000 people. And uh, just to let you guess now, I'm blind. So, I can't see what's going on the valley, but I do remember that there was a time that you could travel between Harlingen and McAllen, and there were areas, big gaps of open land. Nobody was using them, they were not inhabited or anything like that. If you do that today compared to 30 years ago, pretty much every part of the, along Interstate 2 is covered completely with either homes or businesses. And that shows, that pretty much confirms that, of course, the population has increased about 700,000 people and it's getting quite busy. And the valley as a whole does not have, proper transportation, adequate transportation to get people from point A to point B. In this particular case, Brownsville to McAllen and in between. And there's people out there that could take advantage of it, and it'd be a lot easier. You just mentioned that your tires were damaged or your tire was damaged. I'm not saying it's going to fix everybody's tire problems, but it may reduce the wear and tear on cars if people travel regularly from one end of the valley to the other. And uh, like I said, this has been going on for a while. And in 2021, I spoke to State Rep Mando Martinez out of Westaco, and I had asked him what the status was on creating a rail system here in the RGV. And he said that it had been approved by the Texas legislature, but no funding has been allocated. So it's pretty much in limbo at this point. And I've used a commuter rail system before when I lived in New Mexico. I use it to travel between Santa Fe and Albuquerque. It's affordable, it's quick, it's convenient. And one of the things that I guess I'm being a little bit partial on, it's very accessible to people with disabilities. And I don't have to. I mean, the economy that the economic benefit from it. It's and it's not gonna. It makes it easier for many people.
And let me tell you, it's one of the things that I've always stated. I appreciate all these new groups coming up and voicing out there a lot of the different concerns uh, of, uh, of citizens, and we need a lot more advocacy out there. One of the things that I've made mention is you we need people that holds individuals accountable, and unfortunately for us, a lot of folk out there don't want to take that major step in regards to being that voice for countless other individuals. And one of the things that I've experienced, I don't know if y'all are experiencing this. A lot of times, uh, it's that silent majority that continues to remain silent, and don't want to put themselves out there.
I agree. In fact, the group, it's been around for I think going on 2 months now. It was started by me and another gentleman named Israel Izaguirre, and it just came by chance that we ran into each other on social media, and we had the same idea. So we started together this group, and at this point, I would estimate that we have anywhere about 50 to 60 members that follow the group. And when you compare that to the approximate population of the valley being almost 2 million, that's not even a drop in the bucket. And that's one of the things that, one of the reasons that I came out here was to hopefully gain some more interest, because the more people show interest in this, the more it's going to be listened to and the more it's going to be taken seriously. I reached out to, I mentioned that I spoke to Mando Martinez about 3 years ago, and I've been trying to reach out to his office a couple of times. I haven't gotten a response. I'm hoping, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not giving up on that. However, Mr. Izaguirre that works with me just mentioned to me last week that he ran into Congressman Gonzalez, and he indicated that he was interested in the whole idea and said he was willing to work towards allocating federal funds to creating it. It's not going to happen if everybody sits on their hands and doesn't speak up. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, I like the independence that I get from driving my own car back and forth. I understand that, but there are many people out there who would choose to take a train. I mean, especially students, that attend anywhere in Brownsville or Edinburgh, and they have to do that every day. My stepdaughter, she lived in the Westaco area, and they drive either to Brownsville or Edinburgh every day for at least 4 years, if I remember correctly. It would have been a great benefit for her to have a rail system because it would minimize the cost. And I don't know what infrastructure would be put in place. I'm not an engineer, but I do know that there's a lot of work to be done. And let's face it, Erasmo, we're going to get some pushback from current transportation services. They're not going to want to give up revenue to a train that's going to run from Brownsville to Edinburgh when they can do it themselves. And that's another problem with not having enough people stepping up to the plate and helping out and getting the word out. They're gonna push back, and it's not gonna be easy until they realize many more people are pushing back at them. I'm not trying to create an adversarial environment. I'm just trying to say that we need to work together to get this going because it is needed, and I don't think many people are going to disagree with me on that.
Well, again, it's important, and I think one of the things that we provide that is two avenues: an avenue for information, and an avenue for individuals, to ask questions, and try to get a lot of their doubts, doubts or concerns clarified. I've actually run into this whilst running for the appraisal district here locally. A lot of people don't understand the process. You know, uh,
Agree.
don't, don't understand what it entails, what it encompasses, and a lot of times there's a lot of misinformation. Like, I'm running against individuals right now that are out there literally saying, "Oh well, we're going to lower your taxes." Well, someone running for appraisal district doesn't have the authority or the power to lower your taxes. That's doesn't fall under the responsibilities of someone that's going to be in their appraisal district. And I make mention of that not so much because I'm trying to push the campaign, but again, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot of times the individuals uh, that we have out there that are supposed to be in uh, positions of power to actually take action, este, don't clarify, won't explain, and will continuously let individuals, remain in ignorance, because it benefits them. And it's unfortunate because an individual running for appraisal, and I'm using that as an example, doesn't have the power to lower your taxes. We could uh, set individuals up on different committees that hear out a lot of the different concerns for individuals out there, but that's what we can do.
No, I agree. And as I mentioned previously, regarding this project, there's going to be some pushback, and a lot of it's going to be a whole money issue. You're going to have, you mentioned, misinformation or anything like that. You're going to have a lot of these individuals, and that, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but you're going to have a lot of people going around saying it's not possible. We don't have the capability. We don't have the money. We don't have the infrastructure. And that may be the case in some areas, but I don't believe it's going to be the entire project. It cannot, we got to move forward and got to get past that and, work together to get this going. And when the misinformation comes around, well, let's just go ahead and face it head on and prove them wrong, or maybe use that to our advantage to tell people that you got people that are going against, the general public.
Yeah.
And, in the area, certain people run certain parts of the valley. And I'm not talking about private citizens, I'm talking about leaders. And if it doesn't benefit them one way or another, they're going to push back at it. And that's what the valley doesn't need anymore. We need to work together, with our leaders and our citizens to get something to the citizens' advantage, not just a certain group. And that that is what is needed to do here. And if we don't stand up, say in numbers, raise our hands and say we need to do this, it's not going to happen. And like I said, I've had this group going on for 2 months. I have less than 100 followers, and it shouldn't be that way at this point. And people should be speaking up, not only in the group, but to their local city or county leaders or state representatives and so forth. And if they don't, they're not going to listen. I like the fact that Rep. Martinez did work on this, got this going. I was actually kind of very motivated about it when he told me, and I was very surprised, to tell you the truth. But it's in limbo. It's been 3 years, and that's part of the problem. It just sits there. Look at the second causeway that they're working on. If I remember correctly, I heard, I think it was Judge Trevino say that at the earliest, it's going to be 10 years before the project may be completed or may start. And we don't need that. I don't understand how, yes, you get the metropolitan areas and they got more money than we do here in the valley. But at one point or another, they didn't have a system, but they got it done. Why can't we?
Yeah, sorry, I got a mama called, so you got to answer mama's call. Let me say, guys, yeah, and I appreciate the group that y'all started. And I appreciate what y'all are doing. I think again, we just have to work together to educate individuals in regards to what's going on there, and try to continue to to get more individuals to become a little bit uh, more active and less social media wars, because everyone complains on social media. On social media, everyone's bitching and upset and everything. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty in regards to putting boots to the ground, which is basically what we need, we get a little bit less individuals. Gene Sims says, but the Valley keeps voting for the same type of leadership over and over again. And yeah, and like I was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday at Hannah, because I went to support our Hannah band as they were doing a fundraiser, which is very unfortunate that a lot of our students here have to do fundraisers constantly in order to you know to pay for a lot of the excursions that are really very very educational. But I mentioned it's the clear definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. You're not going to get
Well,
it.
well, look at the most recent example was the Cameron County Arena. They put it on the ballot. You know, certain people didn't get their way, so they go and they went and did it again, and again they didn't get what they wanted. Right, so they put a bunch of an effort to a project that everybody knew, and I did my research on it. Everybody knew that it was not going to make any money for the county. It wasn't going to be a benefit to anybody, but they continued pushing that over. They did it twice. They didn't get what they wanted. Okay, why can't they put that much of an effort to something like a rail system? Why can't they just work towards making it as a benefit to everybody? Let's face it, when they were doing that Cameron County Arena, they were doing it to benefit certain people. It was not going to benefit you. It wasn't going to benefit me. It was not going to benefit any regular citizen of Cameron County. But they kept pushing it. Well, that kind of effort needs to be done for a rail system. And you're right. I don't want to create an adversarial group that's going to go out and take on every political leader here in the valley. I want to work with them. But the thing about it is, they have to want to work with us, and I have yet to see that happen. They've done minor projects. It you know they've worked on certain things that, again, benefits a certain group of people. It doesn't benefit the valley as a whole,
And that's
and that's
important.
what we need to get past that. And
Yeah.
that's what's been holding us back for decades. It has never been about the entire valley, residents. It's been about a certain group of people, and like I said, that needs to stop. And the only way we're going to be able to move forward is if we start working together.
Yes, very much so. uh, I appreciate you. Let me say one of the things and again, people may think that these are small little things, but they're indicative of the bigger problem that we have here in the valley, especially here in Brownsville, Texas. This weekend I think it was Friday or Saturday, I can't remember. It's actually Sunday. I think it's Sunday. They had this little party out there for one of these political rich people here in the city of Brownsville, and the city of Brownsville automatically goes out there and closes the street so that they could park on a public street. I don't know where the hell, and individuals going like, well, they'll do it for anyone here in the city of Brownsville. I don't think that's true. I've never seen a street closed down so individuals can park down Southmost, down Las Prietas, or anywhere else. I just don't think it's true. And people may say that, well, you're starting to sound a little bit on the petty side. Whose house was that? I think it was Tony Martinez's house, or one of those houses of these individuals. Again, I'm going to say it's not being petty. It's just I want the rules that apply to me to apply to everyone here in the city of Brownsville. And I'll give you another example. Sometime back, we decided to paint a mural on the side of our building here in downtown. It's our building, our at our cost, and the city of Brownsville came down and tried to cite us and give us a citation because it was a historical district, and they wanted anything that was put on buildings to have something historical or indicative, or they ultimately decide. Why should they decide what I put on my damn building? I don't give a rat's ass if it's historical or not. Someone go down to the murals we have downtown and tell me what part of those the only one that has anything historical is the one here on 12th Street. The rest don't. They got butterflies, which are pretty, not my liking. Another was a pink Pepto wall, has nothing to do with historical Brownsville. But they can do whatever the hell they want. But Erasmo Castro can't put up a mural on his building. So again, once they started to put up these fugly murals out there, in downtown Brownsville. Well, we started putting up our own mural again. So I'm waiting for them to come down and bitch at me and say, "Hey, why are you putting up this mural?" I'm going to tell them, like, "Screw you! If y'all can put up murals up there and have nothing to do about the city of Brownsville, you better believe it. Erasmo Castro is going to put a mural on his damn wall." And that's exactly what I did, because again, I wanted to be indicative. I want it to be indicative of the systematic issue that is a plague here in the city of Brownsville and in the valley as a whole, I would say. But again, I'm going to put up the damn mural, and I'm waiting for them to come and bitch. Uh,
Well, honestly, if I could, I'd work on putting the train on the rail myself and wait for them to complain. But obviously, I can't do that. So I know what you're getting at, and I agree with you.
yeah.
That needs to stop. We need to start focusing on the residents as a whole, not just a select few.
Do you think we have a question? You think the people of Brownsville are conscious, awoken, or and defenders of justice, or they just don't give a damn? I think this, and this is my take. People of Brownsville have been screwed for so long, far too long, that they've just become accustomed to it. And this is one of the issues that I have with the folk here. You got to get out of the sheep mentality. Got to get out of the sheep mentality and just be followers and just accept, whatever they dish our way. Got to fight for what's right. Got to fight for the right, for your rights, and make sure that everyone is being treated fairly and equally. Let's try it. Let's set up a party somewhere and request road closure. I might want to do that here right in front of my office. I might request a little party and say, you know what, I want the city of Brownsville to close down the damn street for me. I might just do that. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. 100%. I agree with Richard. See, the people that say that you are acting petty are the ones who are most misinformed. Very, very much so. And, again, people need to get out of the sheep mentality. Out of it. Out.
Yeah, that's what's been keeping the valley from being a little bit more progressive, for lack of a better word, because I really don't like using that word, and it's held us back. Look at what's look at. I mean, this is one argument that I've had, and just a question that I've had. Why in the world do we have three airports all within 30 minutes of each other?
It's
It,
crazy.
it doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. But it's because at one point, at one way or another, it's affecting a certain group of individuals, and it just you're wasting taxpayer dollars. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a one day thing where you're going to consolidate all three airports and make one major airport. I'm just saying, why do we have three airports
It makes
all
no
within
sense.
30 minutes of each other?
It makes no sense. One of the things that I think, and again, one of the things that I think that the city of Brownsville, McAllen should have done is focus on the Harlingen Airport, and use all these resources and put a dish them out there and make a massive, massive, massive airport, whereas we can compete with any other airport throughout the state of Texas. But we can't. We got three rinky-dinky airports, and again, the Brownsville Airport is really pathetic. I mean, if it wasn't for the illegals out there, the Brownsville Airport would go bust. I mean, that's the only individuals that are actually using that airport, the illegals. And the city of Brownsville is happy, that they've got planes full, but they're full of individuals that got their tickets paid for by us all. And ultimately, it still affects and hurts us all. And it's just unfortunate. But I agree with Philip. We should have focused. But again, right now at this point, it's just too late because there's so much money that's been invested in the Brownsville Airport and the McAllen Airport, and it's for naught. Everything should have been focused in the Harlingen one. We should have always started to work together. We'd have had a massive airport out there that would actually have flights to a lot of the important cities throughout the world, like going to Monterrey, Mexico, Guadalajara, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Austin, everywhere. But we don't.
Yeah, and so, let me give you an example as to how the rail system would be a benefit if we were to consolidate into one airport. Uh, in the one in the rail system in New Mexico, if you travel from Santa Fe to Albuquerque or Albuquerque to Santa Fe, and you were flying out, they provided free service to the airport. You wouldn't have to worry about having to pay for it, and the initial cost for riding on the rail system itself was very affordable. And it was a combined, I think it was a 1.5 to 2 hour train ride between Albuquerque and Santa Fe. And that's the same thing that could be implemented here in the RGV, where Anybody with a confirmed boarding pass could get free travel from, say, McAllen to Harlingen. They wouldn't have to worry about it, and they get directly dropped off at the terminal. That would encourage people to use the rail system, and you worried about, again, going back to the wear and tear. It would minimize having to fix things over and over on our roadways, and that's the. I mean, why not? Why cannot we create a hub? Why cannot we create actually multiple hubs when you think about it, with all the train stops that would be done along the way? We're not centralized. Everybody wants to be the boss of any project. Nobody wants to work as one. They want to be in charge of this and that and that. And you got three different people, four different people working in the same type of environment at three or four different locations. And in the end, it costs taxpayers money. And why not consolidate? And that's the biggest problem with the valley. They don't want to consolidate. They don't want to give up their power. They don't want to work with the citizens, because if they work with the citizens, it's not going to benefit them. And that's what needs to stop. And as long as we have that attitude, you know, I don't expect this rail system to come overnight. I frankly, with the attitudes that we have now, I don't expect it to happen within the next 10 years. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But
Yeah,
as long as the powers that be have their way, we're going to have a problem getting this going.
hundred
And
percent.
that's why I say we as citizens need to get together, make our voices heard, and don't let them tell us what to do, because their job is to listen to what we want to do. And we're not going to do it when you got a handful of people that are pushing for this. But if you have 10, you have 50, you have 20,000 people, you have 100,000 people wanting a rail system, they're going to listen.
Yeah,
Now, if Congressman Gonzalez himself is sincere about the fact that he's willing to work towards getting us funding, then why are we not reaching out to his office and saying we want this?
100%. Philip, I got clients that walked into the office, and I need to take care of
Yep.
them. And we did a good 30 minutes, which I'm very, very proud. And it's good to have you on. And I'm very, very proud of the work that y'all are doing, and the advocacy that you're hoping to push. And I'm hoping more individuals go look for the page, RGV.
RGV Rail System Interest Group. It's on Facebook.
RGB Rail Systems Interest Group. Please go out there and look for the page, join the page, and hopefully we can have Philip back sometime very, very soon to see us there where we're at. Tomorrow, guys, we'll discuss BISD matters and everything that's going on out there, and we'll have a longer conversation in regards to the street closings out here. Appreciate y'all's patience. Philip, thanks for coming on.
Have a good day.
Guys, have a great day. Social distance, face covering, hand sanitizer, still and all that crap. I don't. Guys, be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless. Thanks, Philip.